She moved on before I was ready. When you find someone who feels like home, it's easy to believe that home is a place you'll never have to leave. But sometimes, the person you thought you'd always have by your side is the one who lets go first. This is a story about love, loss, and the quiet courage it takes to move on, especially when you're the one left behind. It all began in late autumn, when the air in Vermont was crisp and carried the scent of fallen leaves. I first met Emily at a local coffee shop near the college campus. She was sitting by the window, her nose buried in a battered copy of Norwegian Wood by Murakami. Her auburn hair caught the golden afternoon light, making her look like a figure in an old painting. I'd seen her around campus before, but we'd never spoken. That day, something compelled me to ask if I could join her. She looked up, smiled with a warmth that melted the chill in the air, and said yes. From that moment, our worlds began to intertwine. Our conversations flowed easily, winding from literature to music, dreams to fears. Emily had a way of listening that made you feel as if you were the only person in the world. She was curious about everything, passionate about social causes, and could find beauty in the mundane, like the way she marveled at the steam spiraling from her coffee cup or the way rain painted patterns on the window. We started spending more time together. We walked through the maple-lined streets, hands barely brushing, unsure of what we meant to each other but savoring every moment. She taught me to appreciate indie films, and I introduced her to my favorite hiking trails. Our differences fascinated us, and our similarities felt like fate. I fell for her in the gentle way autumn gives way to winter, quietly, inevitably, with a sense of both anticipation and loss. As the months passed, our relationship deepened. We celebrated small victories together, her acceptance into a prestigious graduate program, my first published essay in a local magazine. We supported each other through setbacks, too, her struggles with homesickness, my doubts about my chosen career path. We shared secrets in the dark, whispered dreams across pillows, and built a world that felt both fragile and eternal. But even as our love grew, I sensed an undercurrent of restlessness in Emily. She spoke often about the future, about travel and adventure, about the life she wanted to build, a life that sometimes seemed to shimmer just beyond my reach. I tried to reassure myself that love was enough, that our shared moments would anchor her to me. But love, I would learn, is not always an anchor. Sometimes it's a sail. One evening in early spring, as cherry blossoms bloomed along the riverbank, Emily and I sat on a park bench watching the sunset. She was quiet, her gaze fixed on the horizon. I reached for her hand, and she squeezed it gently. "I got the internship in San Francisco," she said, her voice trembling with excitement and uncertainty. I smiled, proud of her accomplishment but already feeling the ache of impending distance. "That's amazing, Em. When do you leave?" Quote, "In 2 weeks," she replied, turning to look at me, her eyes searching mine. "I want you to come with me. But I know you have your life here, your job, your family." Her words hung in the air, heavy with possibility and fear. I wanted to say yes, to drop everything and follow her across the country. But my own commitments held me back, and I could see that she understood before I even spoke. We spent those last 2 weeks in a haze of longing and uncertainty. We made promises we weren't sure we could keep, whispered, "I love you," as if they could bridge the distance that was already growing between us. On her last night in town, we danced in my living room, barefoot and laughing through our tears. As dawn crept through the windows, we held each other tight, trying to memorize the feel of skin against skin, heart against heart. After she left, I threw myself into work and routine, trying to fill the void she'd left behind. We called and texted at first, sharing glimpses of our new lives. But as weeks turned into months, our conversations grew shorter, our silences longer. She told me about her new friends, her favorite coffee shop, the city's endless energy. I listened, proud of her and heartbroken all at once. One evening, I saw a photo of her on social media, smiling, arms around a group of new friends, the city skyline glowing behind her. She looked happy, alive in a way I hadn't seen before. I realized then that she was moving on, and I, still anchored to our memories, wasn't ready. It's a strange kind of grief, losing someone who is still alive. I replayed our memories like old songs, searching for clues, wondering if I could have changed the ending. I missed the sound of her laughter, the way she'd trace circles on my palm as we talked about nothing and everything. I missed the feeling of being understood, of belonging. But life, I learned, doesn't wait for you to be ready. Seasons change, people grow, and sometimes love isn't enough to keep two lives intertwined. Emily was chasing her dreams, and I had to find the courage to chase mine. Slowly, I began to let go. I found solace in small things: a new book, a run along the river, the company of friends who reminded me that I was still loved. I started writing again, pouring my heart into words, finding beauty in the bittersweet. I realized that moving on didn't mean forgetting. It meant honoring what we had, carrying the lessons with me, and opening my heart to new possibilities. Months passed, and the ache faded into a gentle nostalgia. I still thought of Emily sometimes, when I heard her favorite song on the radio, or when the first snow of winter dusted the city in white. I wondered if she ever thought of me, if she remembered our nights beneath the stars, our whispered promises. But I no longer felt the sharp sting of loss. Instead, I felt gratitude, for the love we shared, for the ways it changed me, for the courage it gave me to let go. One day, I received a letter from Emily. It was handwritten, the words flowing across the page like a river. She wrote about her life in San Francisco, the challenges she'd faced, the ways she'd grown. She thanked me for loving her, for believing in her, for giving her the freedom to become who she was meant to be. She ended the letter with a simple truth: some loves aren't meant to last forever. But they teach us who we are, and who we can become. I hope you find the happiness you deserve. Reading her words, I felt a sense of peace. Our story was over, but it had been beautiful. I realized that moving on wasn't about erasing the past. It was about embracing the future, carrying the love forward in a new way. Love isn't always a fairy tale. Sometimes it's a lesson, a season, a memory that lingers like the scent of autumn leaves. Sometimes, the person you love moves on before you're ready. But in the end, we all learn to let go, to find our own way, to build a life that is ours alone. If you're listening to this and holding on to someone who's already let go, know that it's okay to grieve, to remember, to feel lost for a while. But also know that healing is possible, that new love and new beginnings wait just beyond the horizon. You are stronger than you think, and your story isn't over. It's just beginning a new chapter. So here's to the ones who leave, and to the ones who stay. To the love that changes us, and the courage to move forward. May we all find the strength to let go, the hope to begin again, and the wisdom to cherish the memories that made us who we are.